investors should really invest in funeral homes in Chicago. You would make a killing over there. Ways that you can help me, and then we'll have a magnificent,
you gotta love a helpful motherfucker.
Right.
I realize that oftentimes when I talk to these entrepreneurs, they're like, listen, whatever you need, let me see if I can make the connection. Let me see if you can do this, do that. I'm like, why are you being so nice to me, bro? But it's because they succeed because they try to like do as much as they can for other people because they know it pays off in the end eventually.
Yeah, because too many people are very egotistical, one, self-centered, two, and then kind of like, I guess when everybody's starting out, when you're building business, because more often than not, you don't have the full support of your family and your friends to a certain degree. So with that being the case, you're more individualistic. But when you now commune with other entrepreneurs, other people who are building, you should look at it like, hey, how can I help you? Even at the beginning stages, because as we all know, day one, friends, is great. But it's really the day twos that end up taking you to where you're going to go.
That's a bar.
Right. It's the day twos that kind of get you. Because think about damn near all of your rich friends or successful
They're all day
friends.
Twos.
They're all day twos.
They're all day twos.
And you take a look at their circle, more often than not,
you're a day two.
Who is around at the bottom?
I think what it boils down to, though, is because once you become a different version of yourself, you leave the old version behind.
Right.
So those day ones might fit with that old version of you, but the day two version of you, or I'm sorry, but the new version of you, those are your day twos.
Right.
When I look at you, the reason I consider you a good friend is because you motivate me. We were talking about it before the podcast. You motivate me because you got great work ethic. You're doing something with your life. Even when it boils down to little things, it's not just a business competition. We play basketball. Fucking motivate me. We exercise. You motivate me. Those people that have those habits are the ones that tend to succeed.
Right.
So I don't really have a lot of like newer friends that don't focus on their health, that don't work really, really hard. You see it immediately whenever you meet someone, the people that are going to make it and the people that aren't. Because the people that are going to make it, they have that like it factor, bro.
Right.
Yo, that's a hard fucking worker. That's someone that wants it.
Right. And for me, I always look at it from the perspective of, I remember when I was first coming up, and then even where I'm at, because I went to Monday Night Raw, like this weekend, WrestleMania will have already passed at the time of this coming out.
That's how my daughter was born.
But, oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it was Monday Night Raw. Fair enough. It was on a Monday. What do you know? All right. I know what the birthday gift was going to be. But basically, while I was over there, I ran into a couple of subscribers and things of that nature. And there was one gentleman who's always in my live streams, and he's been watching my content for like 8 years. And he said one of the things that he really enjoyed watching my ascension in the space of social media was I was somebody who stayed grounded. And as I evolved and became bigger and bigger just from a subscriber base, I never jeopardize my core values. I've remained the same person. And I'll always give a conversation to whether it be a subscriber, whether it be a fellow YouTuber, whatever the case is, anything I can do to help, I always try to go and do that. And I think oftentimes whenever somebody grows kind of big, they get that ego trip to where now you're beneath me. It's a terrible way to view things because you were once in that other person's shoe.
Yeah.
So don't get so big to where now.
I think it's okay to feel that. I think it's different to act on it. Whenever I see anyone that recognizes me in the street, I'm super nice. I'm extra nice almost. Right. Because I genuinely appreciate the fact that they support me and they watch me. But also at the same time, I'm gonna be like, yo, you're not on my level. I think it. I don't say it out loud. But like, it's a weird thing because it's like, it's really, really pure. I love these types of people that are like, my wife is like this because my wife has a lot of followers, but she's very like, everyone is equal and like, they're just as good as me at this stuff. I'm like, no the fuck they not, because if they would be at the same place. At the end of the day, like your work ethic shines through.
Right, there are things that separate you from everybody else.
There's things that separate you, but I think it's really important to be open to all these conversations because you're not better than anyone from a human standpoint.
Yeah.
But for me, from a work standpoint, it's very different. So I agree with you. Like, I think being open to that stuff is super important.
And it's things that I think you can develop over time, because a lot of times people always say, they were built like that, or, they had that from birth. No, that's not always the case.
Yeah.
It can be built up if you just turn certain things off. Like, truly, social media, and although I work on social media, I'm not somebody who's on social media like that. And I might just mess around and go cold turkey outside of just uploading for I'll do a 90-day run of my own, probably record the entire situation, make a whole spectacle out of it, at least whether I post it to the populace or not, or keep it amongst myself. It's just one of those things where I like those challenges where you just do different things and give yourself an opportunity to lock in. I think too often people don't lock in. Like, they kind of do.
You gotta lock in, my boy.
You really gotta lock in.
You gotta lock in.
Fitness is always the first thing that you can go towards.
Listen, my wife be calling me like, babe, sorry, I'm locked in right now. I can't talk to you.
Well, that's a different situation.
I'm locked in. No, but it's
you
true.
Can't get out the house.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like, when those people that like challenging themselves are the ones that stay on top.
Right.
Because it's like, what kind of person are you that doesn't like adversity? You're gonna get soft. Mm-hmm. I hate when people I remember I was like, yo, I work really hard, but but you got soft hands, brother. You got soft hands, brother. They say that, and I'm like, brother, let's fight. Right. We'll see if I got soft hands. I'll put these soft hands on you. No Diddy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was good no Diddy use right there. Good no Diddy use right there.
So I think the people that like that challenge, that adversity, that's one thing I like about whenever I see people that are successful, they love that shit. They love that challenge. Mm-hmm. You never back down from a challenge.
Yep.
Whenever I see you, like, yo, let's see who can climb more stairs. That's your challenge. It's like, this is actually a good, you have that personality where it's like, fuck it, let's do it.
Right.
And if I lose the elevator access password, and he still takes the stairs.
Yeah, he could go up on the elevator, he takes the stairs.
He challenges himself.
No, but that's a great thing. I hate when I see people that are on the second floor and they're not taking the stairs.
Bro. Yeah, it's brutal. Oh my God.
That happens in my building all the time.
Up a wall.
People get on the elevator second floor to go down to the first.
Right.
I'm
like, brother, that's crazy.
Unless you're carrying a cart or some of that nature, and then
if you're old,
then I get it. But then at the same time, I always look at this, and I started discovering this primarily because of social media. There is a group of older individuals who kept themselves in shape, and they're in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, and they are more physically fit than people who are in their 30s, 20s, 40s. And what's interesting is a good percentage of them were not fit their entire life. They started their fitness journey in their senior citizenship, and then they were able to turn things around. And the excuse fest in the comment sections were it really pisses me off. I constantly, I talk to my parents today about this. Where I'm like, hey, we gotta work something out.
We gotta lock in.
My mom's gonna be 70 next month. My dad's gonna be 67 later this year. I told them both, gotta build some muscle. Got to do some sort of movement. Do something.
You got to eat right, too. The older you get, the better you got to take care of that machine, dude.
Right. Because I tell them, hey, listen, we've been able to experience a lot of things, but time is ticking. For the most part, life expectancy, I think now is 86 or something of that nature. And still, even at that, if that's just on average, but judging that you took care of yourself to a certain degree, who's to say you can't croak tomorrow or maybe within 5 years? Just don't play an active role in your own demise. So at least attempt to do something that can work in your favor down the line. Don't just, I'm just going to move by faith and do nothing. I think that's the worst possible way.
This is my mom saying, if it's my time, it's my time.
Yeah, that's what my parents say. That's exactly what my parents say.
Because let's say someone gets shot, right? Someone gets shot in a drive-by. I'm like, if it was their time, it's their time.
Right.
I fuck around like that a lot because it's it's weird, almost helplessness.
Right.
So I'm all for giving it, leaving it to God. Listen, God want to take my life today. Listen, if it's my time, it's my time. But that also, you have to work together in a sense. Yeah. You can't just actively contribute to it, because it would be the same thing as I'm broke because God didn't make me rich. He gave you the opportunity. You're on planet Earth for a reason.
Yeah.
You live in fucking the United States for a reason.
Right. I think ultimately there is fate that plays a certain role with certain things, but then there's absolute stupidity. All right, well, there's a gang war that's going on outside. Well, let me walk through and see if I'm bulletproof. Well, what do you think is going to happen? Mm-hmm. You know, let me take a shotgun, put it to my chest. Maybe I won't die. That's stupid. You're actively working against certain things. You can't say, oh, well, I guess it was his time in situations like that, because you're actively contributing. So don't be an idiot, I should say, and actually work towards trying to better yourself and better the people who are around you.
I've been reading your shirt. I'm trying to like do it.
Oh, you've been trying to read it?
I was like, black in the making. How are you black in the making?
Yeah, so black,
brilliant, billionaire in the making.
Billionaire in the making.
Oh, so black, brilliant, and then the only thing in the making is billionaire.
Yeah, so
you're not black in the making. You're not brilliant in the making.
I guess
you're
it's
a billionaire in the
black
making.
would then signify I am indeed black, as is this sweatshirt.
I realize you've had multiple shirts like this. Do you feel like you're in this like black excellence, like Jay-Z brunch club? Like,
I think that's what they're going for. So shout out to the Melanin Money mastermind, the Melanin Money Club, and they kind of make sure they have this type of stuff.
So
no, it's not all black people.
If I wanted to join that mastermind, could I also have?
You
one
actually
of these?
could, and have this sweatshirt. There is a there's an Asian lady who happens to have this same.
That's a banger.
She has one of these as well, and it's primarily melanated.
Does it come with the pass?
No, I don't think so. I myself don't give myself the
I'm
pass.
gonna be like,
so there is that.
I can say it. Look.
Hey, good luck around the right people. But but they go for like this kind of, because I think people need something to attach to.
I love stuff like that because I feel like it sucks, but primarily like black communities, it's like there's a lot of victimization. Yeah. And to an extent, I agree. Some of it does happen.
Some warranted, right.
Bro, I went down a rabbit hole the other day. Let me just go down this rabbit hole with you guys. So I went down a rabbit hole the other day. I was doing some research, and this is some crazy shit. I hope I don't get taken out for this. This is a little conspiracy theory-ish, but not really, because when I explain, you're gonna get your mind blown. Hip-hop music is a psyop. Gangsta rap is a psyop.
Interesting.
Here's what I mean by that. Who primarily listens to these gangsta rap songs, right? Because I was thinking about the other day, there was like some girl, and she's like, my workout music is Taylor Swift.
Right.
And I was like, what the fuck? My workout music was fucking like, I'm just thinking about I was picking my wife up the other day from, this is how I kind of got into it. I was picking her up from maternal yoga, her maternal yoga class, and I'm listening to a song that's like, fuck you, bitch, I'll kill you, I'll shoot you in your face. And I'm like picking her up from her maternal yoga class. So I'm thinking about it, I'm like, damn, this is not a good influence on people.
It's not. It's not.
So then I was like, I've heard it before. I'm like, okay, you're full of shit. Come on, grandma, stop saying hip-hop music is the devil. But this is where it gets crazy. This is why I say hip-hop music is a psyop. Because let's say, right? Let's say you wanted people to stay in poverty or broke, and I'm the white man, the white devil, the white demon, and I want black people to stay in poverty. What is my number one marketing tool to them?
Music.
Music.
Yep.
Right? These rappers, they glorify and they look up to.
Yep.
Let me just program them with fucking music.
Influence.
So they want to be these people instead of entrepreneurs and businessmen.
Yep.
They're going to want to be these people. Right?
That's why Jay-Z's more recent projects don't relate as much. Only the people who have been following him for an extended period of time, they'll say, I see the change and the growth, and I see the elevated mindset, so I can listen to this now. The new age fans, the people who came up in the drill scene, they look at that like, oh, that's whack. Yeah. This man's talking about money and all this other stuff,
Picasso,
and banking. Like, come on, what are we talking about here? Yeah. So for me, and I'll piggyback off of that, No Diddy, is with I've always felt this way regarding hip hop, because I grew up listening to like KRS-One, Tupac, and just not necessarily more like the gangsta kind of side. I always enjoyed lyricism and stuff like that in music, but I never liked the super gangsta raps. Like 50 Cent is one of my favorite artists of all time, and you have to talk about your experiences and things of that nature. But as 50 grew and kind of left the music scene and went more into direction, into business, like and all the other stuff, I was like, that's admirable, whatever. Like now, it seems like the vast majority of hip hop fans more interested in the whole super drill, super gangster persona, all this other stuff rather than what hip hop initially was, which was an art form. Now it's not as much as an art form anymore. And I feel as if truly, even when you watch the NWA film, you see it.
I was in that movie.
There's profit. Really? You was an extra?
I was when they were shooting at the concert, you see me running, I jump over a chair.
Oh, what do you know? He's got a credit. I was in theaters for that film, and when they had the whole angle with the Jerry Heller and everything of that nature, I said, I see this is going to piss people off. And when I left the theater, lo and behold, within a couple of weeks, there were people pissed off. Well, we didn't like how we were portrayed, making it seem as if we're, exploiting people through the music because we were the ones behind the production and pushing them. Like, well, that's exactly what it was.
So wait, hold up. Sorry to interrupt, but like this conspiracy theory. So it goes even crazier, right? So I'm like, damn, that's wild. Like, that is one reason. But then I think about, you need a motive. In any crime, you need a motive. Why would they want black people to stay poor? Right? It's not racism. I don't think people are inherently racist. I don't think you're born and you're like, I'm racist.
Yeah, I don't think it's born. It's something that's nurture, not nature.
So I think how do they profit off this, right? Well, what can we do? Private prisons. Private prisons are a thing. This is where, bro, we're gonna get real deep now. So I program people. My product is a prison, right? That's my subscription product because the government's paying me for every person that's in prison. Every person in prison, the government gives me a check. Right? So now I'm programming them with music so that they do commit a crime, they shoot somebody, they kill somebody, you throw them in my prison. This is where it gets even crazier. Do you guys fucking know? Because I did my research. I was like, okay, so like who's like championing these artists? Like NBA Youngboy, that's the first one that comes to mind. Like NBA Youngboy. Anyone that listens to NBA Youngboy, those are menaces.
Right.
Those are the ones that they be stomping people out, right?
Got to be.
Signed to Atlantic Records. Atlantic Records owned by Warner Music Group. And two of the biggest shareholders in Warner Music Group is BlackRock and Vanguard. You know BlackRock and Vanguard, they have the largest shareholder stock in private prisons. So now you have this fucking product, which is a private prison. How do you fill that bitch up? Because the more people you get in there, the more money that it's gonna fucking print for you because the US government's backing it. So every person in my private prison, I get more money for. Well, shit, let's use a motherfucking music label. Let's champion all of these like NBA Youngboys. Another one, Kodak Black is on there. Pooh Shiesty, whose biggest song is like, Get It Back in Blood.
Back in Blood, Back in Blood.
Go Get It Back in Blood.
I think he's actually in prison right now.
It's literally telling people to go.
Or in jail, something of that nature.
It's telling people to go kill people. So it's like, I'm this company, right? And I'm speaking as an entrepreneur. I'm not speaking as like an evil person. But listen, I got a prison, I need to fill it up. I got my prison, I need to fill it up. How do I do that? Well, let me just use my media company, my record label, and let me blow up specific songs that just talk about killing people, shooting people. Boom, boom, boom. So, I mean, again, this is completely unfounded. I could be completely wrong, off base, complete coincidence. But shit, man, like when you put it out there.
It's truly, and when I was in college, because once I left high school, that's when the war in Chicago had really started to reach its apex. And then between 2012 and 2012 and maybe 2017, the bloodshed there, homicide deaths is in the tens of thousands to maybe even hundreds of thousands if you were to really dive deep of what gang relate, ridiculous amount of deaths out in Chicago, right? And the drill scene taking off, the Chief Keefs, the Little JoJos, the G Herbos, the FGB Ducks, the King Vons, all of these dudes just murderous murder rap. I remember seeing an article in 2013 where they were talking about, and this was wild, but it blew my mind. It was on Yahoo. And it was like, investors should really invest in funeral homes in Chicago. You would make a killing over there. And I sat there, and I think that was one of the, maybe not one of the first times, but one of those early moments over a decade ago that I kind of had the entrepreneur hat on. And I said, that's not a half bad idea. You can make a ton of money off the pain that's out here. Now, granted, I'll say what led to being in those positions can play a role from the elites poisoning the community, whether it goes back to the 80s with the crack epidemic, whether it's in the 90s with the rule that was imposed to, it was something in the I forget the name of it, but I know Clinton was pushing, Biden played a role in it as well, was like, I think it was three counts.
The three strikes rule.
Yeah, 3 strikes rule.
You know, funny that private prisons lobbied for that rule.
Right.
Because they wanted more people in the prison.
Right, that's what it was. It was three strikes.
The 3 strikes
all
rule.
of those different things that now led to, you know, the leaders of the community or the elders in the family and even the welfare, all that other stuff leading to where you have broken homes. But the glorification of everything that's wrong in the community being pushed and celebrated through media, maybe not directly of saying, hey, you should do this, but you see it awarded financially, monetarily. You then see it in achievement. You have Grammys that's handed out, or maybe even nominations at that. People strive to get that kind of credit. Like even in going to prison, it's almost like a badge of honor to a certain degree. Before RICO really started to reach its apex, it's like, hey, you do a bit in prison. It's like, all right, I want to go to prison. I'll be respected. So it's one of those things where it's incredibly frustrating, especially where hip hop originated in the black community. And I look at it like, man, what are we doing? Because it seems like when you have people who are doing conscious rap or lyricism about other stuff. They make fun of
J. Cole for stuff like that.
It's like, yo, this guy's riding a bike. He's not out here fighting or talking about, he's trying. But I'm like, why would you want people to go out of their way to commit crime, death, and devastation? Because whenever somebody's homie gets killed, you don't celebrate like, ah, man, he died for the cause. Woo. Yeah. You're in shambles because you lost your friend, family member, big homie, whatever the case may be. And what happens? A cycle of bloodshed ends up following because you kill one of mine, I want vengeance. I get it back in blood. I kill one of yours. You think it ends there? Oh, that was fair. It was an eye for an eye. No. It keeps going.
Yep.
It keeps going. And then you find yourself in the position that we're in here.
Yeah. And the craziest part is music is a crazy vehicle because it has almost like a trance-like effect on people. So like I think about it. Like my song, when I want to feel like a gangster, Many Men by 50 Cent.
Oh, yeah.
Many Men. Wish death upon me. I be walking like I'm picking up my wife from maternal yoga. I'm over here, many men wish death upon me. Blood in my eye, dog, and I can't see. And I'm like, oh hey, babe.
Right.
But I'm feeling like yo, if someone pulls up to my car right now, I grab the gat, I spray him right here, and it's like, bro, I'm not a gangster. That's not even me. But I listen to the song, I'm kind of like, yo. And in the same way that like I was at church this weekend for Easter. And
crazy
you hear worship, no, but you hear worship music.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm a man of God, baby. Like I'm here, I'm gonna change the world.
Isn't it interesting with the influence, right?
The music can fucking do that to you. So the fact that you're programming someone with that,
right?
Because think about it. What's it's the most replayed form of media. You make YouTube videos. Someone might watch a YouTube video once, twice, 3 times because like, yo, this is a funny video.
Right.
But you're not really like going crazy like that.
Right.
With
music is just,
it's fucking, that's why artists, like how many artists have like billion plays on a song?
Streams. Right, because even with film, if you were to, you could, I've watched Godfather maybe 8, 9 times. I've watched Tombstone maybe 15 times. Could I sit here and watch it 100 sometimes in succession over? No, I'm either gonna get tired of it or whatever, but music? I can listen to the same song times over and over. I love instrumentals. Like I'm one of those guys who I can listen to the beat of a song forever. Like there's a artist named, I think it's Vidri, something of that nature. But they have a instrumental. Kevin Samuels used to use it. Good Lies. I listen to that on a loop for hours. I can listen to Pokemon instrumentals because it just brings me back to childhood.
You're a strange human.
Hours.
That's
right?
Cool as
I can just listen to instrumentals for hours because it transports me back to like childhood, or if it's good jazz, I'm a man who likes jazz. I can listen to stuff like that for hours. The same thing applies for drill music, any particular kind of music. So like you said, it's the most replayed.
You know what's really fucked up?
Over and over and over and over and over.
I'm a issue with this. You say I can listen to good jazz. Like my first gut instinct is like, jazz loser. Like it's weird that I'm like that.
It's not because things have completely changed over time.
Yeah.
Right, because 100 years ago, maybe not even so much 100, 60 some years ago, jazz was in.
Yeah.
Like it was rock and roll, blues, jazz. Jazz was in.
And it was gangster too.
Right. It was big time. Then media machine, you change and you know what's particularly pushed or whatever the case is. So now I think hip hop, because hip hop pushes the culture. The problem is the culture that's pushed is the worst possible kind of, because as it pertains to fashion, I think that's number one leading place. You want to look for fashion, you don't look anywhere else. What are the rappers wearing? What is the hip hop community wearing? That's what's in. That's what's leading in fashion. But unfortunately, a lot of altercations can be built behind, you know, in listening to hip hop or whatever the case is, especially if you're listening to the wrong possible, you know, kinds of artists. Because like you said, regarding NBA Youngboy, I listened to a few NBA Youngboy songs. For one, very difficult to understand what he's saying, right? Maybe because I wasn't born in that particular, you know, down in Baton Rouge or whatever the case is, but I can understand Lil Wayne, I can understand Kevin Gates. NBA Youngboy, not so much. But it just seems like just murder me. Like this dude is just out here to. Now, granted, you could talk about your pain, you could talk about your upbringing, which I have no particular issue with, but it's just a repeated. Like, how many ops do you have?
Yeah.
How many people you got to put in the dirt?
Particular subject matter, it's very difficult. But you see it all the time. Like even Lil Wayne, right? Like he doesn't rap about that stuff anymore. Lil Wayne's almost gone through like he's a little bit more reformed now.
Right.
Because before I remember there was a song like "Sky's the Limit." He's talking about like chopping people's heads off and sending it to him in boxes. But like now he's just like. He's still Lil Wayne, but it's not the same like violent person because he's so rich now. He's not doing that shit. He's staying out of it. He's being a dad.
You're detached to it.
Yeah, he's like going on First Take and stuff or Undisputed. Like he's detached from it. Same with Jay-Z. Same with like all these other people, and it's sad because now they champion other artists. Right. And is that because the label now is like, let me we don't want this, we want this.
Yeah, I think also in the case of like NBA Youngboy, he does it because it sells, right?
Because it sells.
It sells. So Lil Wayne doesn't need that to sell. Like you said, he has so much money. And like he's Lil Wayne, like anything he puts out will sell. Right. So he doesn't need to like play into this shit anymore. NBA Youngboy still, it's like this is trending, so let me do a bunch of.
And then even like in right now they have the beef that's going on with Kendrick dropped the song, dissing Cole, dissing Drake, or whatever the case. Now, granted, hip hop beef over time.
I kind of like this beef though. I don't think it's
hip hop beef over time produces some of the best music.
I think when it's about rap.
Right, when it's about rap.
Because Kendrick, Drake, and J. Cole, they're not gonna fucking shoot each other.
Right, they're not.
There's no physical threats there.
Not.
It's like rap.
Because stuff like this that now pushes the pen, forces you to get into the booth, and you got to put out your best product. Stuff like that's when you get the masterclass of music, and you really can enjoy the ride that you're being taken on. No Diddy.
Right.
But with that being the case, you look at it on the flip side when you have like a Quando Rondo and a King Von. 50 Cent,
Quando
Ja
Rondo
Rule
signed to Atlantic too, bro.
Right, yeah, he's underneath Youngboy and everything. Like it's one of those situations where for me, I always look at it like, yo, and from when I was a kid, I'm like, this something don't feel right here. Something just don't seem right. Because why is it every other genre of music, to a certain degree, I mean, in country, the broken families, my moose went, you know, missing or whatever the case may be. Oh, look at them cows. Like, you talk about like a long day at work. You have yourself some bourbon at the end of the day, and then there's that. You listen to rock and roll. It's like the Rolling Stone kind of lifestyle. Whatever. So every genre has a different niche per se. But I'm like, why is it? In hip hop, it's gotta be murder is the first thing that comes to. It's not the art form of lyricism. It's not being able to put a bunch of stuff together. It's got like now murder has become.
What's your thoughts on this Kendrick Lamar Drake thing? Let's move away from this conspiracy theory. But the Kendrick Lamar Drake, that's interesting because I'm a big Drake fan. Out of those three, I'm from LA too, so I like Kendrick Lamar. But I'm a big Drake fan just off of the sole purpose that like, if you're gonna talk like rings, Drake got the rings. Yeah. You're gonna talk
super diverse.
You're gonna talk about achievements. Drake is the one with the achievements.
Yeah,
and
the 2010s run is incredibly legendary.
I'm big on achievements and being able to like. He can make a pop song. He can make a fucking little like dancehall song. He can also
combination.
He can also He can also write. So like I'm big on Drake. people are like, well, he's not a real rapper, he's a pop star. But it's like, man, the fact that you can say that is like, you know, it says enough, because he's still technically a rapper. He's still rapping. He's not.
This is going to sound very controversial, but like when Snoop Dogg was trying to, he did a little bit of a gospel. I believe he did, I don't want to say it was country, but he did something else outside of gospel, no, reggae, you know, Snoop Lion and stuff of that nature, right? Where he tried to showcase the versatility, because everybody knows Snoop is one of the best freestylers of all time. Great lyricist to a certain degree, but Drake took all of that, took it tenfold. Now, he may not be able to freestyle like Snoop can, but he has the range. Yeah. And that's big.
So, and if you listen to the Kendrick Lamar diss, I feel like it was pointed more at Drake than J. Cole. Because like J. Cole said himself, they almost like gave him the bronze, because he doesn't like fit, like Kendrick Lamar, I think just the way he raps, the way he makes music, it works. But they've almost given J. Cole the bronze, and then it's like a Drake-Kendrick thing. So Kendrick just dissed Drake, I feel like, more. I think it's bait, because I think he's ready. I think he wants the smoke. He wants Drake to respond. What are your thoughts on that? What do you want to see? Because as a fan of hip-hop, I want to see some shit.
Right.
Truly, it's entertaining.
My take on it is, I think this was all, it's something that it's like structured chaos per se, because I don't think it's something that was, I think for the hip hop fans, it felt like it was blindsided out of nowhere. But I think amongst Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole, it's like, all right, let's go out there and push the pen and probably try to take back hip hop.
So you think they're coming back with something?
I think so. I don't think, truly, in my opinion, I don't think it's a legitimate beef. I think it's just one of those things like, all right, I've been on the sideline for, I think last Kendrick project was 2020.
Yeah.
So it's like, I've been on the sidelines for a bit. I've heard everybody talk about, all right, you know, maybe the times have since passed me. I'm no longer, you know, there at number one. I'm going to drop something and get you on your toes. It's time to push your pen. Let's see what you can put out.
The way I look at it too, it's almost like one of those things where I like the strategy behind it too. Because if you're Drake, someone just dissed you, I don't think you're gonna bar him up. You're gonna get smoked. And with rapping, I think Kendrick Lamar is a better rapper than Drake.
Right, I agree.
So it's almost like if he responds, he loses, because no matter what, he's gonna get barred up. But if he doesn't respond, it almost like makes him look bad. So I want it, but I don't know what's
gonna have to drop something, because when you really look at all of their projects, they've all got some classics, like Good Kid, Mad City, sensational.
Bro, I'm from LA. I listen to that literally.
Sensational album. And then with J. Cole, Born Sinner, amazing project.
2014 Forest Hills Drive was amazing also.
Yeah, great. I loved every song on there. Like, I always joke with people, Wet Dreams, the song was so relatable to where you grab any dude, you put the song on, you're like, yo, you remember I remember those days, man. I remember when I first heard the song, I had to stop, like, man, damn.
So it's so funny because people were making fun of that. It's like, oh, Kendrick rapping about like growing up in the hood, J. Cole rapping about coming in his pants or something.
Right. I remember I saw the memes. Yeah, I remember I saw the memes. I'm like, what? It's so relatable. Yeah. And then everything. And then when he dropped Fire Squad, that was the other one within the same project, just bangers after bangers. And the thing with those guys, they've ascended out of their era of when they were young, like in their late 20s into early 30s kind of situation, and now they're like the elder statesmen. It's almost like where Jay-Z was in the late like when Jay-Z dropped, I think it was the Blueprint 3 in mid to late 2000s, around that, where you've now become the elder statesman in your genre. So it's like, all right, let me just remind people I'm still, that dude. It's not like if RZA or KRS-One were to drop a tape now, it's not going to hit as same.
Well, it's weird because they're going to lose the, there's almost the culture war, and there's the actual like lyrical war. Because if you say something, let's say Drake drops something, I think with a majority, because he has a bigger audience, he's going to get a lot of support no matter what.
Yeah.
But then you're going to have like the rap purists who are going to look at it and be like, well, he wasn't even like rhyming that hard.
But I think this is ultimately what the whole thing is about, because I think it's not for the casual audience. I think when Kendrick goes after Cole and primarily Drake, this is all purely for the rap audience to now come together. It's almost like trying to bring back some form of rap purism.
It's like rap, like it's like real rap rap beef, but like rap, not like, hey, you slid on my homie, so I'm gonna slide on you.
Right, exactly. So it's I'm excited for what projects will be made primarily between these three. I could care less about everybody else. It's between these three. What are they going to produce moving forward? Because I know they've got to be in the studio, pushing the pen, putting together magnificent songs with great double entendres and everything of that nature. So if you were to be a rapper, do you agree more with like the rap purists? Like J. Cole and Kendrick, they're more like, let me rap. Fuck the music side of it. I'm just gonna rap. I'm gonna go crazy with my pen. Or you more on like the Drake, let me break Michael Jackson's record. That's crazy. Right.
He broke Michael Jackson's record in a song where he says, I'm one away from Michael.
Right.
That's crazy. And then you break Michael Jackson's record with that song that's cool as fuck.
It is.
So it's like, do you go for...
Although he'll never be Michael Jackson.
Do you go for accolades, or do you go for, let me stay true to my craft and let me be a lyricist, a rapper, or do you say, fuck it, I want the most number ones ever. I want infinite streams. I want like the biggest audience. I want to be the most popular rapper to ever live. Like, what is your goal there? If you're
to tell you the truth, I'd probably go the former, to where it's primarily more about like the lyricism and the purity of the game. Because I'd probably go the J. Cole route. Because once you accumulate, depending on what your goal is, like it's almost like in entrepreneurship. If you want to be a billionaire, you're gonna keep going. If you just wanted to have fuck you money, and depending on what you would categorize as your variation of fuck you money, 10 million, 20 million, that's my fuck you money cut off. Cool. I've made it to 20. I'm good. I could live like a damn yogi or whatever the case may be. So I would go with the former, but I understand the latter of saying, hey, I want to get to this billion stream, I want to be the most streamed person on Spotify. I want to have the most downloads. I want to be able to sell out the most sort of stuff. So I get it. I would probably go more with the former. But overall, I can't fault either one.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's quite accomplishments. But I will say this regarding Michael Jackson. I saw some people like, man, Mike, I sort of say Mike was overrated. And I don't think people know how big Michael Jackson was in his time. Yeah. Because
someone said Michael Jackson's overrated.
And that's the interesting thing about generations, because as you get older, the people who didn't experience stuff, they look at it like, well, it couldn't have been that big. Like when Michael Jackson had people fainting at his concerts from a move of the hand, or when he died, people also said, I would like to die as well. So having that particular kind of influence, I don't think people understand how big that was without the luxury of social media that we have today
and streaming.
I got two parts of that. I think one, not having the social media might increase that, because you don't see it at all. Because social media, you see it so much, you kind of like get desensitized
it's
to
oversaturated.
So like if there's no social media, you see Michael Jackson in person, you're like, oh my God, it's Michael Jackson.
Right.
I think the impact that Michael Jackson has on the world, like the motherfucker moonwalked. When we think moonwalk, we think Michael Jackson.
Right.
Right? Like Michael Jackson has the fact that he had that record for so long.
Right.
It's like for number one like hits for so long. It's been 30 years? He did it for 30 years? It's crazy. Technically, 30 years where he's had that record. No one's been able to break it.
What year was it? It was 8. No, it might have been 90.
Because I know the Thriller album.
Thriller was 84?
87.
80, no. It was
87.
87. No, I think the Bad was 87. I think Thriller was 84.
Thriller album came out when?
84,
82.
82? Well, there it is. Yeah, 82. Yeah, 82.
Damn. Yeah, so like for Michael to do that, he's definitely
42 years.
It's like a funny enough, Michael Jordan, LeBron conversation. That's how I feel like it is. Some people will be like, yo.
It's generations. It's different generations.
Because Drake is like a rap LeBron. That's the way you look at it. It's like, as far as
the longevity is there, the versatility is there. And truly, whenever people talk about like who is the number one, for the 2010s, there's no denying he was, I think, number one, especially the past 15 years. You can talk about Kendrick, you could talk about Cole, but Drake, you can't deny him. He's been able to rack up the accolades. Yeah. He's been relevant for over a decade at that, which is incredibly difficult. Like, there are some names, but when you think about how many rappers existed and had bangers of songs or whatever, but they faded out. Meek Mill, early 2010s, was in. Not so much now. Rick Ross was in.
You know who else was in?
Not so much now. Somebody else trying to get in. Meek Mill. His dreams and nightmares turned into Diddy's dream and his nightmare. It's not what he wanted to do. But overall, you look at the selected few who have been able to last and remain relevant, it's very admirable. So I can give him, his
longevity is a very underrated thing. Very underrated thing. A lot of people pop and then fall off, but to stay on top, not even just to stay, because a lot of people stay. Like I've stayed relevant as an entrepreneur. I've never got to the top, and I never stayed on top, which is a completely different thing, right? So to be able to stay on top and have a run like that, it's fucking crazy. Because at some point, everyone falls off. Bill Gates was the richest person in the world for all of my childhood, but he fell off.
All right.
Nobody talking about him no more. He's all the way down there.
Yeah.
Nobody
and
cares.
The change of generation as well, because it's who is not only at the top of the list, but then who's also interesting. I think Elon Musk will remain relevant for an extended period of time.
I think he'll stay rich for a long time because he has futuristic.
Right. He has other futurists, and he's very innovative, but he's personable.
Yeah.
Per se. And I think difference from everybody else, he's somebody who's also tangible, because you see him actively, whether it be on podcasts, whether he's on having interviews or whatever. Like Bill Gates had his stuff, but then if you were big into, I guess, tech or stuff like that, then you'd see him, but not so much. I think with Bezos, he probably before, not so much. He wasn't out there like that. More recently, he's been outside.
He realizes
like that.
He kind of sees Elon doing it.
He probably saw Elon doing it and started doing it. Right.
Same with Zuck. Like right. He was kind of like in the background. He's like, yo, I see what people are doing. So he's building a personal brand now. He does jujitsu. He's starting to become like a Chad. Like Zuck is a Chad now.
Elon just will forever be way cooler though. He builds flamethrowers. He takes shit into space. He's putting a chip in your brain.
I think the immaturity is what makes Elon relatable.
That definitely plays a role, right?
Because when you're too like billionaires, you're like, because people always say like, oh, you're like, if you're rich, why are you on social media? Because billionaires, they're like, oh, I'm so rich. I'm gonna, like Jeff Bezos, I'm gonna be on my yacht in fucking the Maldives, right? Like, no one's gonna relate to that. But Elon Musk posting a meme on the internet that he's trolling people on Twitter. That's super relatable.
Also, he acts different than all the other millionaires, right? He says "fuck you" to the.
Oh yeah, like on that thing where he's like, oh yeah, you, like, what do you think about this? He's like, oh, you can fuck off.
Yeah,
he says
you can fuck off.
Right.
Yeah.
Like this, I've seen him comment on tweets that have almost no engagement. It'll be a page where this tweet could have like 4,000 some views, and somehow it came across Elon. That's interesting. Like he uses social media the way that social media was meant to be used. Like the way that I use, where you like, comment, and subscribe, or somebody said this. I agree with this. All right, I'll say that. I disagree with that. I'll leave my 2 cents and move on with the rest of my day. Yeah. I don't need to make a think piece or whatever. This is just in the moment. I'm here. I just so happen to see it, and that's what I think.
He just said, and he gets in trouble for that too.
Right.
Like he was on Joe Rogan's podcast. Like, let me try this weed. Smoke some weed on a podcast. Stock crumble. He lost billions of dollars because he smoked some weed. Or he'll be like on there. And I think it's part of it's because he has like Asperger's.
Right.
It's like a mild form of autism. So it's like he like kind of just like does shit that he's not supposed to do, but he's like, whatever, it is what it is.
Right.
And then people like it.
I think that keeps him young.
Yeah.
It keeps him young. It keeps him relatable, because everybody's like, wow, when you have that kind of money, why would you even, but you at this stage do the same shit. Right.
Yeah.
He married Grimes. Like, that's so fucking random.
Yeah. He had the whole thing with Amber Heard. He had a threesome with Amber Heard and Cara Delevingne in Johnny Depp's penthouse.
Craziness.
That's wild.
Craziness.
He out there. No Diddy. He was on some No Diddy. Some No Diddy.
Right. I mean,
what do you think about Neuralink? Because that's another Elon thing. Do you see the Neuralink? The dude has a chip in his head.
The chip. Oh, right.
He's like a paraplegic, quadriplegic, and homie can move. He can move a mouse on a computer with his brain.
I don't like it.
You don't like it? Why not?
I never liked it. I think that's the mark of the beast, things of that nature. I've never liked that. I've never liked that thought process of, hey, let me put a chip in the head or whatever. Because even when they're moving towards, oh, well, you know, if you just put this chip into your hand rather than have to carry an ID or a passport or whatever, I can just, I think that's when you take it a bit too far. I understand the innovation of it and the accessibility and how easy things may, you know, become. But I think it's taking things too far because now you're giving way too much access of your body to
So what happens
things.
like when people that don't have a Neuralink become like a second-class citizen?
It's only a matter of time.
Because like now, let's say like I have a Neuralink and we have Neuralinks, and then you're just like non-Neuralinked up, and you're just slow. You're just slower than us. We're like, yo, bro, you see this? And you're like, ha, and then you're just kind of like, huh?
Yeah, but then at this point, you're trying to make like enhanced human beings.
Yeah.
So you're attempting to make humans better. But as we've all grown up watching movies, we've seen things in cinema, whether you read things in fiction and text or whatever, there comes a point in which you take things too far.
So you think Neuralink is where it gets too far?
I think it's the beginning stages where you can have like an iRobot. So, because what happens when things malfunction? It's too soon to see what happens when things malfunction.
When you don't pay your Neuralink subscription and they shut down your legs.
Right? Like, think about it. Think about it. Like, really, because if you're paying a premium every single month, what happens if you don't?
I can't afford it. Oh, legs turn off and you just...
Oh, well, it just stops working. You think so? Moreover, because it's so new, we still have no idea of what side effects could mess around and happen. What happens down the line? How does that mess around?
Don't get it twisted. I'm not getting one. I'm not getting one.
I can't see you being somebody who does something of that nature.
I'm not getting one. Like, I'm letting everybody else do it. I'm going to see what happens with them. And I'll give it 5, 10, 15. I'll be one of the last adopters of a Neuralink. Like, worst case scenario, if I'm like here and I just don't fit in society anymore and I'm the guy that's like an idiot, I'm like, all right, let me sell my soul.
What if you're...
If I become like the dumb kid, like, okay, great example. You all know that one person that's just fucking slow.
Right.
Imagine that becomes you.
But then it depends on what stage in life you may be at. Because if I've already worked my way towards the exit from the Matrix, what's the purpose? I don't need... like I don't want to say the validation from those who are around me, but if everybody's doing it,
it's not validation. It's almost like at some point you just don't fit in because like everyone's so far ahead of you.
Fuck them.
That you're just kind of like, what?
Fuck them. I wouldn't take that chance.
What if all your entrepreneur friends are making way more money than you and outperforming you because of their Neuralink?
Am I still making money?
Not nearly as much as they are.
Am I like able to provide?
Yeah.
It's not an issue. I think the issue becomes more
they can go all night fucking making deals, all this shit, and it's because of their Neuralink.
No need for sleep.
I think the issue comes when it's like you start to like not fit in anywhere. Like you become almost isolated because I don't think that's healthy. And then
isolation. Okay.
So great example, right? Here's a great example. Let's say you just have no more friends because everyone else is just way beyond you. Like, yo, Dave is too slow for us. Mm-hmm. He's not Neuralinked up, right? And like you're just like, damn, I have no more friends because I'm not. And then all the people that don't have Neuralinks are people that are just idiots. So like you just don't fit in anywhere now because everyone else is Neuralinked up.
You know, I get that. I get that where if you're now completely isolated, then that can probably convince you to want to, or I should say, peer pressure you into wanting to be a part of something bigger than yourself. However, if it doesn't align with, because if you're doing it only because you don't have peers or friends that are around, I think you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
I think that's last resort. I think you find friends elsewhere. You think you do everything you can to like not get it, because that's what I would do. I would do everything I can, but I'm like, fuck, man, like.
Because if it's in a situation where it's like it's everywhere and you can't escape, so it's like the last of the Mohicans kind of situation. Now, I don't know.
Here's a great example. Everybody that doesn't have TikTok, or like, I'm never gonna make TikTok, I'm never gonna make it, and eventually they all cave and they make a TikTok because of like how much money it makes them,
right?
Or like how like you get like a forefront of all the memes,
right?
Like how you understand culture better, and people are like, fuck it, I'm gonna make a TikTok. I think that's kind of what happens with something like a Neuralink.
I think it might become like a class thing. There's gonna be like, oh, we all have iPhones. I was saying that
too, like second-class citizens, where it's like all the people like that are rich and like just perform way higher. They're all the rich guys, and everyone else is fucking broke. And because at some point, if you can't make money because you have no Neuralink, I think everyone gets it.
Or everyone gets it, everyone has it, and then it's like, oh, you have the first version. I have Neuralink 3.0.
That's exactly how
You're still running on 1.0.
That's how I envision it going, because it's gonna start out with their base version or whatever the case may be, and then as they develop and enhance and make better what their original product is, you're gonna have to keep upgrading. But then if you're somebody who has the base model that's there and time has since passed you by, what happens then? That's why I still look at it from, it's so incredibly young. There's not enough time to now identify, what the situation is.
I think you kind of have to see how it plays out. I think anytime soon is ridiculous.
Right. I think that at this point, you've got to be in a situation where either you have a terminal, sort of illness.
They're only doing it for those people,
too. The dude that was quadriplegic, I'm like, that's fire, because now you get to like do whatever you want in your brain,
Yeah. Like, gets to look at internet porn, and it's
internet porn.
they give him access to the computer, and he just starts looking up child porn.
Wouldn't that be wild?
No.
Like you give it to the wrong person.
Stop.
Right?
Unplug it.
Right? Don't give it to P. Diddy. It's going to be a bad situation.
Yo, P. Diddy with a Neuralink, bro?
Oh, my God.
That's crazy.
Oh, man.
Crazy.
Young Miami's going to be doing overtime.
It's
not
a wrap,
going to be a good situation.
He fucking does whatever he wants.
Good Lord. Don't
That's
get the Neuralink. I wouldn't just don't get the Neuralink now. I think you should just wait for what you got, or do get the Neuralink and let us know in the comment section what your experience just so happens to be after yet another magnificent episode of the Assiduous Podcast. I am the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chisel Adonis. He is a serial entrepreneur, the Filipino Prince, Tycoon. Soon-to-be father, Rene Lacard. At the time of this taping, I believe that the baby, or I should say at the time of the release, the baby should be popped out.
We'll have a fresh baby.
And Filipino.
And not a prince.
Brazilian?
Brazilian.
Portuguese?
King.
I would be a Filipino king. Yo, banger. Next episode, Filipino king.
Yes.
Rene Lacard.
Rene Lacard. We are
Assiduous.
Assiduous.
All right, boys.